Hello, my name is Amy Ludwig Vanderwater. I am an author and teacher living in Western New York, and I welcome you to day 66 of Keeping a Notebook. This is Betsy the writing camper. She is a 13-foot beeline from the late 60s, and she loves writers. Today's Keeping a Notebook chat is titled A Tree Memory.
Hello, writing friends. It is day 66 of Keeping a Notebook. High five to you. High five from Betsy. It's great to see you. Today's writing chat is titled A Tree Memory, and I'm actually going to share with you something I wrote in a notebook earlier this early summer, in early May, about a month ago, in a different notebook, in a nature notebook. And so what I did, well, first on this side, you'll see there are some drawings of leaves of trees that are around me that I'm trying to learn. And then over here, what I did is I listed some trees that I have special memories with. Trees are very important to us as humans. They do so much for us. And when we look back in our past, we can often remember certain trees from certain times that give us special memories. And my friend Annie Ward was in a meeting with me and with some other educators, and she asked us each to share a tree memory. And it was so wonderful that I wanted to share this with you. So this notebook is a nature notebook that I kept earlier this summer with students in the Mamaroneck School District. And I thought this would be a neat thing for all of us to try. So a tree memory. I listed some memories I have with trees. So making maple syrup, making cider, my son Henry reading in a tree, the weeping willow at our first house, 2 trees holding up the hammock on Mount Vernon Road. Now I'm thinking of some other ones. We had a Christmas tree one year that we planted in the yard afterward because we had it in a big pot. And then many years later, before we left that house, we ended up cutting it down and having it as our Christmas tree the second time. So I have lots of tree memories, but the one that I wrote about was the 2 trees holding the hammock and our old house on Mount Vernon Road. So I'll read this to you. I'll never forget the 2 silver maples in the backyard of our first house. They were big and mighty in a small fenced-in yard, and they were spaced perfectly apart to hold a hammock, a blue net hammock that swung our children, neighborhood children, and the children from my writing class, and a lot of grown-ups too. Mark had tied ropes around the trunks of these 2 maples, and each end connected to the hammock. The trees looked down as we cuddled new babies, gave gentle and wilder rides, holding the top of the hammock pinched closed, and maybe they read our books over our shoulders. I have one very poignant memory of these 2 trees, something they saw that I did not. One day, there was a knock at our door. I opened it, and 2 neighbor girls, about 9 and 10, held plastic bags and looked up at me. "May we go play in your hammock?" they asked. When I said yes, they looked down and then up again and smiled. "We want to swing our dolls in the hammock, but we don't want anyone to see." They each held their plastic bags tightly, and I smiled and waved them back. I did not go back to watch Abby and Kristen and their 2 happy dolls, but now, over 20 years later, I can still see this beautiful image in my mind of 2 old silver maples keeping watch of yet another chapter in some girls' lives. Watching 2 girls hold on to their good fun play. Trees see a lot over the years that they live. They are systems for giving shelter and food, for giving oxygen and taking up water, for housing creatures, and 2, for giving beauty and a safe place for people, big and small people. I do not know if those 2 trees still stand, but I can still see them. And if I could whisper in secrets into their trunks, I would say, "Thank you for that day." So those were trees that were right in the yard where I lived, but certainly I also have memories of trees in parks. I have memories of trees that I've just seen and have thought were amazing. I have all kinds of memories of trees, and if you just sit for a little while, and you might want to draw some trees or sit outside near a tree, look out your window at a tree, and think, do I have a memory with a tree? And then the other thing I did, which was a lot of fun, because I had loved hearing people share their memories in that first meeting that I had with my friend Annie, I then asked some people in my family to share their tree memories with me, and they did, and I glued them right into this nature notebook. So, tree memories today. It's day 66. It's so good to see you, and I'll see you tomorrow. You be well.
This is a closer look Add the leaf drawings in one of my nature notebooks as well as the memory. And here is the rest of that memory, along with a blind contour drawing of a tree in my yard and a little close-up that I did while looking. Many people have fond memories of trees from their past. You might want to consider making a page in your notebook, as I did, of tree memories of ones you love. Simply ask some questions and write down what they say, or send an email with your question and print out what they say. Trees feed us, shelter us, give us oxygen, shade us, and make us happy. I hope that you get to see a tree today.